my God, I have tears in my eyes. Stop. Riley, I absolutely love your videos. All of the ghost stories and your singing videos. Everything about your channel is just perfection. I adore you, and I have a family ghost story that I thought I would share with you. My name is Stephanie, and you can use my name in the video, although I'm not really in the story at all because this didn't happen to me, but it happened to my grandmother and her sister back in the 50s. So this is a ghost story that has been in my family for about 80 years now. My great aunt Linda, my grandmother's sister, married the love of her life back in the 50s. He was known to enjoy a drink from time to time and wasn't always the nicest guy when he was drinking. So one night, about a year into their marriage, he was drinking. They got into a big fight and he stormed off and drove to the bar downtown. Several hours later, the police showed up at her door with the very unfortunate news that her husband had been in a fatal car accident. She was absolutely devastated and felt guilty for letting him leave the house when he'd been drinking, despite the fact that he got into the accident after several hours of drinking at the bar. Linda went to stay with my grandmother for several months after his passing. About a year later, Linda started telling my grandmother that she was seeing her late husband in her house. This started when she began dating a new man. She wasn't scared by any means because she loved him, and he wasn't doing anything threatening, just walking through the kitchen and then disappearing, things like that. After several months of her dating this new man, who she went on to marry, and seeing her late husband regularly, it started to upset her because she felt like she was cheating on him, even though he had been gone now for close to 2 years, and so she started asking him to please leave her alone. Her new husband was quite a wealthy man, and so he built her a new house, one that her late husband would have never been in, with the hopes that maybe she would quit seeing him. It didn't work. Over the next several years, he built her 2 additional houses, and she continued to see her late husband in each house. One morning, in the midst of all of this moving around, my grandmother had just put my mom and uncle on the bus to go to school and was going back into the house to go upstairs and make the beds. When she went back in the front door and turned the corner to go up the stairs to the second floor where the bedrooms were, she looked up, and at the top of the stairs, there stood her late brother-in-law. He started walking down the stairs towards her. My grandmother was having absolutely none of that, and terrified, she ran outside and didn't go back into the house for the rest of the day until my grandpa came home from work. Finally, about 4 years after his passing, Linda had just had a baby with her new husband, and her late husband appeared to her as he was doing several times a month at this point. She was holding her baby and tearfully asked him to please not come to visit her anymore. She told him that she was okay and that she was happy, and she begged him, please, I can't keep seeing you like this. I have to move on. I have a baby to think of now. She said that, his head dropped, and he turned around and walked out the front door of her house. She never saw him again after that. I am choked up. That is so sad, like so incredibly sad. Listen, I am one of those people, okay? Oh, I can't. Okay. I am one of those people that if my partner were to pass, I am absolutely okay with being alone for the rest of the time here on earth that I would spend. I am absolutely okay with being alone for the rest of my earthly life. 100%. So this breaks my heart into several different pieces for several different reasons, and we will get into that in just a second. However, Miss Stephanie, thank you so much for all of the compliments. I love that you love my singing videos. When I initially got on TikTok, that's what I wanted to put out, was my singing videos. And I truly just don't believe that I have a voice where people would want to listen to it all the time. And I don't know that I have the confidence in my voice enough to take criticism from people, especially online. So I don't post them often. Typically it's when I feel like it's really good. I've actually been sitting on a video that I did recently in my new home, and I just don't feel confident enough to post it. I really don't. So there's that, but thank you so much. I adore you, and thank you for sending in this story. I truly appreciate it. Get back into it. I am 100% one of those people. I will live alone. If my current partner and I, if anything were to ever happen, whether it be one of us passing or a breakup or whatever, I've actually made the decision that I will no longer be partaking in any type of relationship that is like I am physically attracted to them. I do not want it. I want the relationship that I'm in now, and if something were to happen, I would be devastated, and I would not be able to connect the same way with anyone else. And I know that seems kind of asinine to say out loud, but that's really how I feel. It's really, really how I feel. I am with the person that I thought since kindergarten that I've supposed to be with for the rest of my life. And I have an ex-husband. So the fact that he and I are together now, and it's been, almost 2 decades since we were in kindergarten together and spent our entire elementary life together, I can't fathom being with anyone else. I really, truly can't. And if something were to happen, I would not seek out any other relationship. I would not go places. I would not respond to messages. It just would not happen. With that being said, not everyone is like that, and I'm not passing judgment by any means at all. That's just me personally. And I do know other people who they have had, their partners pass, and they did end up moving on and finding someone, and of course their love for their partner never fades, but it's important for some people to make that connection again and live their life, and that kind of sounds like what she did. And I think it's beautiful that she was able to find that, especially at such a young age, and she was able to find it with a wealthy man. Okay, that definitely helps, my friend. Okay, that definitely helps. I think it's amazing that this man was like so accommodating to her as well, that he was like, well, maybe we'll build 5 different houses for you, and like the drop of a hat, and see if that makes your ex-husband go away. I think that is absolutely beautiful. I don't think that many men nowadays would do something like that, especially with the cost of homes, unless they were exceptionally wealthy. I'm really happy she found someone. I'm really happy she had a baby, and I'm really happy he did leave her alone because that was her wish. However, it does break my heart for him because it does feel to me like he wasn't trying to impede on her life, but more so he was just trying to make sure that she was okay, and he was kind of watching what he was missing out on, and that really breaks my heart for him, just because of how I believe and how I feel about it personally. Again, I wouldn't be able to find anybody else, and if my partner was coming to me in the middle of the night, I would probably latch on to that 100%. And I would never ask him to leave. So I can understand why he dropped his head and turned around and walked out the door of the house and has never been seen again. I'm sure it was heartbreaking for him, but it needed to happen for her. And that's where the yin to yang kind of comes in. Again, Stephanie, thank you so much for sending in this friggin' tearjerker of a story. I absolutely loved it. And I loved it, and I can't wait to post this one. I think it's going to be so great. Everyone's going to have tears in their eyes. Love you guys.